Welcome to Beating Cancer Daily. Beating stage 4 cancer for 30 years still takes my breath away every time I say it. I'm Saren, founder of the Comedy Cures Foundation, and I hope you'll join me for just a few minutes daily for the next 365 days so we may laugh, learn, maybe cry a little as we live our best days beating cancer daily together. I don't know if you have to have radiation or you've had radiation, you're going to have radiation, but I had to do 44 radiation treatments and they were almost completely in a row. I just got off on the weekends and I learned so many great things to do during radiation. The first one that I want to share is flying to radiation. What do I mean by flying to radiation? Sounds so goofy. Well, I had to cross over the George Washington Bridge 44 times for radiation treatments. And I was scared about radiation. I'd heard all these different stories about it. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to try to gather as many strategies as possible. I'm a researcher and I also love to talk to people. So between my research and just talking to a lot of people who've gone through radiation, I'm going to try to gather all the tips I can. And that's what's so fun about Beating Cancer Daily is that I get to give you all these years, well, now it's decades of insights and wisdom that I learned. So this is one that I made up, and that was that I had to cross this bridge back and forth 44 times. And basically I was going to get radiated. So I thought, how could I make that fun? First of all, I chose to take the upper level of the George Washington Bridge and not the lower level. Well, if any of you know or you want to look it up, the upper level of the George Washington Bridge is quite exquisite. You have this unbelievable panoramic view coming into New York City. It's golden. It is beautiful. So I decided instead of taking the lower level, which is very dark and claustrophobic, and you just like are stuck in traffic and you can't really see this view, you kind of can see out the sides, that I would always take the upper level. And not only would I be so conscious of the view, but I would fly across the bridge. What does that mean? I would pretend that I was a beautiful bird and I was completely free and that I was making this tremendous flight into New York City. And I did this every time on the way in and the way out of New York City on my way to and from radiation. Now, I didn't normally drive. I usually went with a buddy who drove me because they would park outside the radiation facility in Manhattan and wait for me. So I didn't have that huge expense of parking. I had the toll, but I didn't have the huge expense of parking. And they would just make calls or do whatever they had to do, rest, nap. But that saved a lot of time not having to park and a lot of money. And so whoever drove me, I would make them fly across the bridge with me. Now, if I'm not driving, my arms are extended and the windows open and the skylight's open. Well, if you have a skylight, but I had one at the time. So I would just extend my arms out. And for that time going across the bridge and back, that was the most glorious flight possible. So I found this incredible joy in this traverse of this bridge. Now, after you do something, I think they say 14 times, it becomes a habit. Now, I can't go over that bridge without flying. And anyone that's ever done it with me now has that imprint of us flying over the George Washington Bridge. So it's been kind of contagious. They've picked up the habit too. Now, if you're driving yourself, I don't want you to let go of the steering wheel and cause an accident and be unsafe. But if someone's driving you, you have free wing motion to fly across that bridge. Now, if you're driving, I don't want to recommend that you only drive with one hand. I don't want to do that. I personally do it. I extend one arm and I fly. And that goes on to today. And my radiation was in 1999, and I still do it decades later. So if you do have to go for radiation and you do have to go for a lot of treatments, like I said, I did 44, and I just wanted to find ways to make it as happy and as positive and as joyful as possible. So I give you my wings and you can fly, and let me know if you enjoy flying to your radiation. Bless you. If you've enjoyed this podcast, then I'd love to ask for you to go to comedycures.org and check out our membership circle levels. You will find even more resources and more programming, like our live virtual Q&A sessions with me, our live Comedy Cures events with our very talented comedians, live health builder workshops with Jackie Bryan, hosted by me, a robust monthly newsletter, plus much more. It's really an exciting community. So please consider becoming a member, giving it as a gift, telling your friends, telling your hospital support group all about this community. I can't think of a more empowering way to go through a cancer journey or your survivorship or your caregiving experience than with us at Beating Cancer Daily. It's truly an honor to serve you. Thanks so much. See you tomorrow. Guess what time it is? It's time for me to read the disclaimer. Beating Cancer Daily and the Membership Circle are not in lieu of medical advice or treatment. They are for entertainment purposes only. Please consult your healthcare team to review your best strategy. Thanks for listening.